Game in the rain?
He has a game at 9, but we have to be there at 8:30.
But it's raining.
Not
You play
here.
baseball until there's lightning on the ground.
It's
I
not
got
raining
you.
here at all,
I got you.
as far as I can see. Okay. All right. Da-da-da-da. Summarize how you will position yourself in terms of theory into practice and why. What's your rationale for the use of technology in your classroom or at your campus? These are interesting questions.
I mean, if we'll start with the second one personally, it's a little easier to answer. I mean, I use technology in my classroom because it's been told to us to use technology in the classroom. We're a one-to-one district. All the students have iPads, we have iPads, and we have MacBooks. And it's been deemed that we use it.
See, for me, yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be using it, right? Like in Texas, it's technology is built into our T-test, which is our teacher appraisal system. But for me, I use technology because I really and truly want my kids to enter in the world and be workforce ready. And the world that my fifth graders enter into once they're ready to go into the workforce is going to be, I think, like unfathomably technology rich that I don't even think we can. I mean, they'll graduate in 2032, so it's a
Ooh.
long time from now. They're already, if they entered into the workforce right now, are in a really technology rich era. But I mean, I can't imagine what the world's going to look like as far as technology goes in 2032, especially with the rise of AI. So, um, if they're in elementary school and middle ages, intermediate, and they aren't using any technology or it's minimal, right? It's only when they get online to take the test, then they're not going to be building those found like the same way that they need to build foundational reading and math skills so that they can be college ready for that. I feel like the same goes for technology. If they don't have those foundational technology skills, just to be able to get on Google Docs or to make a little presentation or keyboarding, those things, then as they get older and they're asked to do more and more regarding technology, it's going to be a struggle. So I feel like we've got to. Heck, when I was in school, I had a whole entire class in middle school dedicated towards like keyboarding and technology skills. And then it's crazy because that's not even, I had dial up internet at the same time, right? Like,
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I did with the noises.
You're so true.
You are completely on that's where I wanted to go with it. But yes, I mean, you're right. Like the whole keyboarding issue, right? I mean, work with fifth graders. Monique, you work with middle schoolers. Like, I don't know what the difference is between Illinois and Texas, but
Heck, heck,
I
heck.
mean, we don't even have.
I won't let them.
They were pecking. They pecked the keyboard. They
They
can't
freaking peck.
type.
Right, but I mean, and that's exactly it. But you're talking a keyboard, a physical keyboard.
Yes,
See, we have peckers because we have iPads, and so
makes
there's
sense.
not that instruction for keyboarding until the kids get to middle school, and even then, it's not a true keyboard. It's like a keyboard attached to an iPad case,
Oh,
which is not even any better.
yeah.
And so, yeah, we see the pecking too, and I'm like, I'm
So
typing
in
like this
your
in my classroom, and the kids are like, "You're not even looking at the screen." And I was like, "No, because I went through typing course. It was part of high school. You had to take it in order to graduate."
So,
Yep.
because in my classroom, I use technology, but not as much as most people on my campus. So I use it for warm-ups, for exit tickets, for gamified learning, and when we need to use our Mathia for the week. So we have our Mathia days.
Ooh, Matthew.
Girl, yes.
I'm so sorry.
But everybody's going to Bluebonnet, which is
We are not.
Carnegie. Oh, we gonna see.
We are
Um,
not. Our
but
teachers were like, heck no.
yeah, we are the same. But
Yes.
for like their actual classwork, I do as much on paper as possible because my kids are attached to screens and they're always wanting to do something on a screen or on a device. But in their other classes like science and social studies, they work on them with those projects of being able to make a presentation, make a Google Doc, work in a group as a live document so that you can create your entire project. They work on those skills. I only use it in my class for data purposes because I'm looking for specific things. I don't need you on a device the entire time because if at any point we don't have internet, which has happened for like a week straight, you can't be on the device anyway, and that just ruins your whole lesson.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to think fast.
exactly. So if
And
it's
I like that in your team, you have like, while you, right, as math are not using it so much, that you know that your team is. I will say, like, I teach in a pod team of 4 teachers.
Mhm.
My social studies teacher kind of, it's mainly like just because she puts things in Google Classroom. Our science teacher does not, like, hardly at all. Um, and our math teacher does, mainly because I'm the technology chair for our campus and she's my mom.
So you make her do it.
So I make her do it. But actually she's very like willing and able. So like, you know, um, I like that you have like that they have it built in. And that's something we've talked about on our campus is like
Yeah.
building in to the curriculum computer-based projects that support the curriculum.
Yeah.
So yeah. We use learning.com for typing, and as their reading teacher, most of the time our warm-up is that they get on the adaptive keyboarding section of learning.com and keyboard, and it has made a big difference in my kids because I see way more of them now way more of them now are able to actually mostly adequately keyboard versus
Okay.
chicken peck. And I just have like a handful of kids at chicken peck. And I tell them, like, you have to write your constructed response for my class. And if you're chicken pecking it, you're going to make so many more mistakes because you don't know where the letters are on the keyboard. Versus, like, if you're truly keyboarding, you're not having to think about it as much. Somebody put it like this for me for keyboarding, that like when kids learn to read, right? And they're writing words, they're doing it letter by letter and they're not like truly scripting words until they've built the fluency of scripting words. And the
Mhm.
same goes for keyboarding. When they don't fluently know where the keys are and how to fluently key them in, it's like pushing back into that literacy of like, I'm doing it letter by letter now and it's not a fluent skill. I was like, hey, that's a cool way to like relate that because it's not wrong. I mean, if you're having to letter by letter, your writing has like been shot.
Yeah, on my campuses, so I'm on 2 campuses as a digital learning coach, and I see like variety use of tech. And I always tell teachers too, I'm like, it's gonna sound funny coming from the tech person, but less is more. Like we want to use it intentionally and meaningfully with the kids. And, I really talk about like creation versus consumption. We're not just getting on it. Like not everything has to be done on the computer, that pencil and paper, they still need to practice handwriting. They still need to practice just getting things on paper and that stamina. And then, when STAR changed their questions and went to typing the short answers and all that in my district, we kept asking them, I was like, we need a typing program. And so we got typing.com. So kids practice that. But it's also, trying to find the time to do like typing.com, like all these little pieces, the digital citizenship, I think like Ashley, you were kind of, or no, Monique, you were saying about how they need to know about like collaborating together and communicating, like those skills too. And we have like digital citizenship lessons that we're supposed to do every Tuesday, but a lot of the times the teachers don't do that. I don't know. There's a lot of like, I think COVID like rushed us into using a lot of technology all the time, and we haven't gotten back to using it like when, at least in my district, what I've noticed, and we haven't gotten back to using it more intentionally and not for just every little thing. I go into classrooms, some classrooms, and the Chromebooks are on their desk all day long. It doesn't matter what time of the day I walk in, there's a Chromebook on their desk and they're using it. And it's just so weird to me because I taught before COVID, and then I was a digital learning coach through that whole thing. And it's just a different environment now. It's very interesting to me because I feel like we went kind of like to hardly using it, that we needed to use it a little bit more, to now it's like we got to find that balance of using it with creation more than consumption, and like working on those like soft skills, those future ready, collaboration, communication, innovation. Because like Ashley, you're saying, the job market is going to be so different, we can't even imagine. So we have to like build up their creativity, their innovation, and not take that away from them, if that makes sense. So anyway,
Yes, I completely agree because especially going from everything being on paper except for when you're doing um whatever games, because the kids loved Prodigy, so I'll use Prodigy as an example. Right before spring break of COVID, and then you don't have school for like 3 weeks, and then you're pulled into all of these meetings so that you can help other teachers on your campus set up for um, doing the end of the year pretty much virtually. And yeah, it's an interesting thing to go from 0 to 1,000 so quickly, and then trying to backtrack because now you can
Mhm.
use both things and you're on campus all the time.
Yep.
I will say too, like the way that I saw both from the campus I was on and from my daughter, like COVID implementation too, was like it wasn't so like it wasn't really instructional technology at all. It was just like somehow, some way I took my curriculum and stuck the elements online for the kids to be able to access. And so I think for a lot of teachers, their idea of what they think instructional technology is not instructional technology, because their
Yes.
idea of instructional technology is like I slapped everything into an LMS and now my kids can access it at home, which like cool, right? I do too. All of my work goes online, that way nobody can lose anything. Yeah. It's saved me several times. But like when you walk into like my classroom, for example, and teaching is happening, like they're using Lumio to guide their lessons, and they may or may not be on their device, but I've got it on mine. But then we're also doing the lead forward strategies to get them to engage and talk about and do and it's like this little marriage of like of teaching practices. But when I walk into other classrooms and we talk to them about using technology, it's just all like, what can I get them on the computer to do? And that's one reason
Mhm.
I've tried like pushing Lumio so much on our campus, because it gives them something that truly is instructional tech, like where it's alongside your teaching to support and enhance your teaching, not just for assignment completion or to replace your teaching because you're out and you have a sub. But
Or management.
yeah, well, and for me,
Yeah.
like it helps me with classroom management so much because they're more they're just that little bit more engaged with it. Or like I put these little elements throughout the lesson where they have to stop and do. And
Mhm.
they like, I don't know, I did a little monster quiz and they got all hyped up about that yesterday. So can you
And
make
I
it? Can
think
you
it's
do
just
another
really
one? I'm like, it's not. I have to create that thing, man. It's not like oh, what's the one that just has like the big bank of quizzes and stuff?
Oh yeah, quizzes and like what's it? Ed Puzzle and
Mhm.
um
who?
Ed Puzzle.
Kahoot and
Yeah. Look it,
Look it. That's what I
Oh,
was thinking of. Yeah.
Gimkit.
Yeah, I'm like,
oh
on
my.
So
my
many.
Lumio, I have to make these. Now, did I use an AI tool to generate it? Yeah. They don't need to.
So my
Um,
question is for your campus, Ashley,
mhm.
or probably it might be a question for your district, do they not help your teachers, district people, learn how to
I know what
integrate
you meant.
technology more effectively?
So,
Like what lesson portions could be something to make a little bit more enhanced within
so,
STEM?
yes, that's kind of an interesting question to answer. Um, we're a small district. We have about just under 6,000 kids enrolled.
Oh wow.
Like we have one high school, right?
Okay.
It is a 5A high school, but we have one high school. We have one instructional technology specialist for the entire district.
Oh.
Oh wow. So
And she's phenomenal. She was actually with me when I was at CCISD and she was on their instructional tech team and she's great. She's a wealth of knowledge. She's trying desperately to advocate for expanding her team to at least two more full-time people. That way we can kind of have like somebody that does it all and somebody that does upper grades and somebody that does lower grades.
yeah.
But it's hard for her because she's one and there's six campuses. And the campuses themselves are large. Like our campus has 50 teachers on it. The high school has three times that many. I think they have somewhere around 120 teachers because they have double the amount of students that my campus does, plus all of the CTE classes and remediation classes. So they have, and that's for every campus. And so they're trying. She's last year was her first year on the job. Before that, we had zero. We do have one campus person. It's a stipend position. So like I'm that person for our campus. But I'm really limited on what I can do as a teacher on the campus. I did a lot more, I think, than probably your average person this last year because I was in my practicum. And so I was doing things for my practicum too. Thank you, sir. Um, but yeah, I mean, she's just limited, and so she's trying. Hopefully, she'll get something, then I can get something. But yeah, we just have the one. Now, I will say, kind of going into one of these other questions down here about AI implementation.
Mhm.
And I know we've talked about this before. Good news on Thursday. Our district unlocked Magic School AI and put it on our ClassLink Launchpad for all of our teachers. Not the students yet,
Hey.
but all of the teachers. And so yesterday, as the tech chair for our campus, I sent out a challenge and was like, the first 5 teachers to make something on Magic School and send it to me will get some Magic School swag, because I had a bunch of stickers from TCEA and they were sharing like it's just stuff, dude. They were sharing all of the stuff they were creating. I mean, the math teachers, social studies teachers, and it was really cool to see them sharing that. So I know that's not technically related to the question, but it's something I've talked to y'all about, like being frustrated about. So it was definitely a big win for
No,
us.
that is related to the question
Like, I mean, yeah, like you
because
gotta
whatever
give
they
it to them to let
created,
them figure it out.
Exactly. And whatever they created could possibly be integrated into their class.
And
Mhm.
we did go with Magic School because it meets all of the privacy requirements that other AI
Don't.
necessarily do not. And that was one reason on the AI committee that I had pushed us looking into Magic Schools, because it is for schools and it's been built to meet all of the privacy standards that are required nationwide, not even just in Texas. Actually, they're out of the nation too. They are implemented in other countries as well. But it was very cool. I did have to remind them, like, guys, it is AI, it is computer generated, so double check something, double check everything it puts out to make sure nothing's
Weird.
wonky in there, right, or weird. So I was like, Magic School is pretty good. I've actually never had anything get put out by Magic School that was like, oh, that's not right situation. But I'm sure it'll happen along the way. But I mean, it was good stuff. So I was glad to see that, you know, we're taking that next step and letting the teachers explore with the tools. I told them about, you know, like, these are my, you know, top 5 ways I use the tool. Um, it was cool. Some of them did some text leveling, some of them just made math word problems. It's like, see, now you don't have to sit there and think of like different silly names and situations and dividing apples and pies and keep
This
It's
is
so it's
true.
so it's
I
so
love Magic
helpful.
School.
and keeping it rigorous. I feel like when I make up stuff, I either make it too hard or too easy, and Magic School does a good job at keeping it at the state
Yeah,
indicated rigor, which I like.
yeah.
I think
We've been
that lends itself to a whole variety of possibilities. I mean, you said you're currently using it with teachers, which allows them to, you know, use the digital tool to engage themselves, but then it would be interesting to see how it transitions into student use, because I feel like with the more AI that we're getting and that we're using, that it's a possibility for like teaching better process with like editing and revising or looking deeper into the content, because like you said, right, AI is not perfect, but students would then have to go back and really like take a closer look at it. And so that, and you know, going back to one of the questions, is digital tools support or hinder student engagement? I mean, I feel like it could, if you teach it the right way, that digital tool for students could absolutely provide student engagement and focus on all the aspects that collectively work as a whole child perspective and getting them career ready or future ready, versus a hindrance. But I think it would take some extra oomph from the teacher to really teach how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm running into on my campuses is, and again, my teachers are amazing. Let me like say that out loud. They are amazing. They do amazing work. But like something we've noticed like in 5th grade, they are by far the highest grade with repairs on their Chromebooks. They flick the keyboard keys off. And these are kids are coming from 4th grade where we have no issues with them, and then they get to 5th grade, and I know some of it's a combination of just their age, because they're 5th graders, they're senioritis in elementary school, but some of it too is that they're what we're also noticing is the increase in 5th grade of usage. Like they're going from like they use it a handful of times throughout the day. In 4th grade, that team is a little bit more tech savvy, I guess, and knowing how to use it the best. And then they get to 5th grade, and those teachers are a little bit, like you were saying, they think they're using it instructional technology, but they're really not. And so these kids are sitting on it all day long. And what ends up happening when you're sitting on it all day long, you start messing around with things. So the engagement is not actually there. They're on video games. They're like when we check Classroom Relay, their history is, their teachers, it's eye-opening to them. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. And so we're trying to get that team a little bit more tech savvy and understanding like instructionally instructional technology usage. It's just it's been hard to move some of them. I don't know why, but I've had a hard time with it. They're open to it. It's just they have to, like you're saying, Sarah, kind of put in a little bit extra oomph to it, and it's just not happening. So any suggestions I would happily take.
I think because I have some teachers that at the very beginning of the year, they didn't want to use technology at all in their classrooms because one, we're middle school, two, they didn't trust the kids. Did y'all see Lori's message? Um, and three, it's for them because they're an older teacher, they're like, I don't know how to actually make this usable in my class. So what I was tasked with for the first semester of school was to work with all of the teachers that deemed technology scary in their eyes and didn't want to use it in class because the district wants everyone to use it. And our principal was just like, as long as you have warm-ups and exit tickets, that tells me that you're using what you're supposed to be using for class. Because you, as a science teacher, you have a different app that you use for something else in class for like the actual classwork. And by the I want to say like the week before we let out for Christmas, all of those teachers, their usage in class went up for how they were using technology, but they were the students were a little more engaged in what was going on because a lot of their directions, they decided, because they don't want to read directions, they decided to put the directions in Canvas for the students to go to their next thing, which would be in Canvas and social studies. I need you to take out this book, take out this piece of whatever paper from this part in your journal, and go to this page, write down the first 5 words you see, type it into this box, and turn it in to just make sure that they were reading the instructions. And it actually helped the engagement of those students within those particular subjects because in sixth and seventh grade specifically, the teachers are not as strong when it comes to classroom management. So it helped them get their classroom management to work in sync with their class so that they wouldn't feel as though technology was working against them. But I still have one teacher. I think she just breaks everything.
It's probably on purpose.
I'm like, no one else has these issues with this board. I don't understand.
Have y'all
know there's-
considered like those teachers that are still just struggling with like what does this look like? Like have they gone and done like classroom observation cycles with teachers that are effectively implementing technology? Yeah.
She has like for her students when they're working, there's no issues because she gets it put in beforehand because you're supposed to. It's when she wants to use her board to lead where they're going. So she's prepared her PowerPoint and she wants to lead it. And then her board decides, I don't want to work today because we don't have like projector boards anymore. We have BenQ boards. So it's like a giant smart screen TV and every day there's an issue. I don't understand.
it's always the one teacher too that just like, what do you do? No one has this problem. There's always the one, and they try so hard. No, they try so hard, and like you're trying so hard to like make it easy for them, and everything is hard, and you're just like,
I feel like you're
It's
the
just like-
last teacher I need to have board problems, right? Like, 'cause you're just
Yeah.
gonna give up because you don't want to do it in the first place, anyways. It's already scary to you. Now your board won't work. Like, great.
And she's like, I tried all the steps. I'm doing all the things that you put in the canvas. Like I can see them and it's not working. And I'm like, I don't know. And when our district technology representative comes, he's just like, I don't understand how she's the only one on campus that has issues. Even the Ben Q guy has come out and is like, I don't understand how this is the only one that's having issues.
I swear some people have like good tech juju and some people have bad tech juju, just no matter what. Like I have walked into teachers' rooms, they're like, I don't know what's wrong with it. And I literally just like look at it and it
And it
suddenly starts
works.
working.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I'm like, listen, I believe you. I totally like, it happens all the time. And then there's like teachers who like just touch something and it's like it won't work. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like it was literally just working. It's so weird. I always joke that it can sense your fear, so be confident.
Yes.
It's like telling the AI tool, please. I don't tell my AI tools please and thank you, just for reference, but I know people that do.
Oh, wow.
I've I've done it before where I'm like, please do this. And I'm like, why am I saying please?
Right.
Because you're polite.
It's
That's why.
ingrained in you. All right, well, it's 8:05. I know a lot of us have things to do, and I think we've adequately covered a good amount of the guiding questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. That way it can start processing because it takes forever.